Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today, my friend and I will discuss about why Takaful important to everyone. Let me introduce my group members. My name is MELATI BINTI RAHMAT as a host.
Hi, my name is Muhammad FAHMEE bin SAHROM and I'm as observer.
Hi, my name is IWARDATUL BINTI AZIZI. I am the Takaful agent of ADHA.
My name is SUFFIAN bin Abu Bakar as the client.
And I, ARFIN bin KAUTHAR as a shareholder.
I will tell about the storyline. Cerita ini mengisahkan seorang bangsa yang bernama Muhammad Farhan bin Hashim yang berumur 24 tahun yang bekerja di dalam sektor swasta. Dia telah terlibat dalam satu kemalangan jalan raya semasa pulang dari tempat kerja. Dia telah dilanggar oleh sebuah kereta yang dipandu dalam keadaan yang berbahaya. Pemandu pacuan 4 roda itu dipandu oleh Encik Faizal bin Ahmad yang berumur 34 tahun. Kesan daripada kemalangan itu, mangsa telah mengalami patah kaki di sebelah kanan dan kecederaan di bahagian lain. I have a question for the Takaful agent. Can you explain a little bit about the Takaful?
Okay, thank you for the question. So first of all, I would like to introduce a little bit about Takaful. So what is Takaful? Takaful is a type of insurance system that devised to comply with Sharia law. This is the place where the money is pooled and invested. So basically, the members contribute money into a pool system to guarantee each other against loss or damage. So before I explain more about Takaful, I would like to say a little bit about the importance of Takaful. Why we need Takaful? The first one is to protect the family and our loved ones. And second, to leave an inheritance of wealth where most people will buy the life insurance and having them as beneficiaries. Third, to pay off debts and other expenses. And last but not least, to add more financial securities. So for Takaful, there are a few products in Takaful that are based on Sharia compliant alternative, which are free from riba, gharar and maisir. So the Takaful can be divided into two categories. The first one is the family Takaful and the second one is the general Takaful. In family Takaful, there consists of child education Takaful, family Takaful, investment Takaful and medical and health Takaful. While for general Takaful, it consists of home Takaful, motor Takaful and personal accident Takaful. So I will explain a little bit more about the Takaful product. So let's say if we are taking the family Takaful. The family Takaful, this is the fund where the participants fulfill their obligation in the form of tabarruk. So when they are suffering problems like death, misfortune and permanent disability, they will contribute the money into the Takaful fund and the money will be collected and will be given to those who are in need. For medical Takaful, it is one of the way to help the participants to use the money so that they can claim the money and use it for the medical and health purpose. And for the general Takaful, I will give an example such as motor Takaful. This is by having motor Takaful, it protects the motor vehicles from losses or damage, where it can help the participants to claim their money. And the concept of motor Takaful is that it will sum up the money to general Takaful fund in terms of tabarruk. If nothing happened to the participants, the surplus will be entering into their pocket and based on pre-agreed ratio between the participant and Takaful operator.
Thank you for the explanation. The next question is, so what is your advice to the client when he take the third party insurance? So can you explain the...
Okay, first of all, I will explain a little bit about the benefits of Takaful. So when you are having Takaful, it gives you some benefits for participants. For example, it will encourage the good intention for mutual to help among participants. Second, if you get the insurance guarantee, the fund management service, and you can earn profit from insurance investment with halal status. And so before for the advices, I would like to explain a little bit about the difference between the conventional insurance and the Takaful itself. So for the conventional insurance, it includes the elements of gharar, riba and maisir. While the Takaful, it does not include all of them, free from gharar, riba and maisir. Second, for the conventional Takaful, for the conventional insurance, it practice of charging the interest, which is known as riba. While Takaful, it does not charge any interest, but it uses the concept of tabarruk, which is the contribution that made will be treated as donation. And for conventional insurance, it considered form of gambling, while Takaful, it does not consider as gambling. And last but not least, in conventional insurance, the dividends are returned to shareholders, while in Takaful, it is shared among participants and operators of a Takaful fund. So my advice is that we should take the first party insurance because it will cover everything. Okay, personally, I do not encourage people to take the third party insurance because, for example, for the situations given, it just cover the other vehicles damage, not the victim's vehicles, and it does not cover full. It does not fully cover, and it just cover up to themselves. That's all.
So, you as a victim, what is your action to protect yourself since you take the third party insurance?
First of all, I would like to thank to MELATI because inviting me to this program. First of all, I as a client, before the accident, I choose the third party insurance because it is cheap. But after I involved in this accident, I prefer to take the first party insurance for more safety and can repair the damage of our vehicle. As we can see, the car driver insurance need to cover my motor damage and it costs very high cost. That's all.
So, I have another question for you. So, what is your action after the accident happened?
Thank you for the question. Because I know the accident happened because of the driver fault, I make sure for both of us make a police report so I can claim the insurance after the driver insurance. The rule to claim from the other party company is to make sure both of us make a police report. Because the driver also take the third party insurance, then I send my motor to the panel workshop of the other party's insurance company. So I need to send my motor to the panel workshop of the driver insurance. That's all.
So, for the observer, you have non-clients. So, what is your comment to this situation?
Thank you to MELATI. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alright. So I will continue. What I try to say. I have to comment this situation, which is, as we know, the biker is take the third party insurance because it is cheap. While the first party insurance is more expensive than the third party insurance. So I will tell about the impact if he didn't take the Takaful. But in this situation, the bikers and the drivers is take the third party, which is it just for the one side only. And so that after the accident, both the bikers and driver take the first party, which is it is insurance that is purchased to cover insured against damage for losses suffered by the policyholder to his person or property. So I will explain more detail about the how to claim from the insurance company. First, the bikers have to lodge a police report within 24 hours of the accident. If he didn't lodge a report after 24 hours have passed, then he can be fined 300 ringgit. After that, inform your insurance of the accident. After that, make sure you send the car or bike, motorcycle to a panel workshop of the insurance. Then you will have to fill up the claim form and submit back to the insurer. And lastly, is an insurance adjuster will then be appointed to assess the damage and cost to fix your car, and then the panel workshop will proceed to work on your car. So what I can say that is it is important that the biker or the driver have to know what kind of the advantage that they have take the Takaful. The first party or the third party. So because of both the bikers and the driver take the third party, so they have to change from the third party to the first party. So I will explain about the advantage of the first party insurance. So the first party insurance is include which is the first party is cover everything. So what the first party Takaful covered is first is personal injury protection coverage under an automobile insurance policy. Second is health insurance. Third is medical payment coverage under an automobile or homeowner policy. Fourth is damage to covered personal or business property for wind, storm, hail, fire, flood, or other disaster. And lastly is rental walk-in insurance coverage. And what I can say that is it is important the bikers or the driver have to know the advantage of the first party insurance. So thank you.
For the shareholder, can you explain for us about the shareholder? You as an Etika Insurance, can you explain more details?
Okay, thank you for the question. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ARFIN and I as a shareholder. Okay, first thing that we must know in this case is the participant is client, which is in this case is a biker who is use the third party as his insurance. These participants will make a contribution at the Takaful fund, and then the Takaful fund will make a investment at the Syariah compliance. Then, if the Takaful fund get the profit will be given to the Takaful operator. Besides, if the Takaful fund get the loss, the shareholder will play their role, which is the shareholder will pick up the loss. They will give a loan to the client according to the loan that asked by the client. Lastly, the profit will be shared between the Takaful fund and the Takaful operator, and then Takaful fund will deduct the claims, the Takaful reserve, and management cost. So the participant and Takaful operator will get the profit on the agree ratio in the contract. That's all from me. Thank you.